Okay, so running in, if we're given a simple layman English, is lacing up and putting a foot in front of the other.
Mm.
That's a layman definition. But when you have to come into the true term of what running is a science
Right.
because
Yeah.
it has so many things that come to play beyond lacing up and running on a pavement, on a treadmill, or on the spot.
Roseline Eyenike, welcome to Dr. Tosin's surgery, and it's a pleasure to have you on board. Looking at the medals at the back of you there, I already know that this
Okay.
is going to be an interesting
Thank
conversation.
you. Thank
What I always do on the podcast is I would like people to tell us about their origin story. Just tell us how you got where you are today.
Okay. All right. So, Roseline, in a nutshell, I would say I've been an active person right from when I was young. So, and being the first of four,
Yeah.
responsibility came as a normal duty. So, I've been able to take responsibility right from when I was a child, leading from, I would say, from eight, because I can remember I've been leading right from when I was eight, and also because my mom left within that period in 94. Yes, and I was 8, 9. So I had to really take up that responsibility to be a woman. I wouldn't say, yes, I was a girl, but a woman, because then I knew I had 3 younger ones to take care of. And
Three.
that jolted me into that. Yeah, 3 younger ones, but boys. So you understand what it is to
I
have 3 younger
definitely,
brothers,
yes, yes.
where you had to use that, point of, I'm older than you, you can't try this. But in the true sense, if we had to flip the coin, they would have beaten me up. So you just use that seniority complex, like, hey, you can't try that. But it was an interesting one for me because it made me grow so fast. It made me realize that I had to be responsible for myself and
Yeah.
responsible for others. And it kept on moving. Even when I got into secondary school, stayed active, took up responsibilities. I just kept moving. And when I got into the university, I became the class governor. So leadership in
Okay.
the true sense of
Research
it has
and
been
investing.
like, yes, I was a class, yes, I was a class governor in University of Lagos. So that's what I would say. For me, leadership has been a pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but it just came, I would just say it's natural. It comes natural to me, taking up that, I mean, initiative to lead situations or lead people. Because really, I've learned that leading people is about finding that place of empathy and ensuring that they're able to do what you want them to do. And even while in school, where I studied microbiology, even if I'm not a practicing microbiologist,
Yeah.
but I did microbiology at a point in my life. That was in the university. Got out of university and felt I wanted to toe another line. Did a certification in human resources, but I never got. It's not because I didn't get a job to be a human resource analyst or human resource person,
Mm.
but I just felt I just went to conventional work. So I started supporting the office of CEO in a marketing communications
Yeah.
company. And from there, I became a relationship manager at an NGO. And I decided, okay, it was time for me to work in my passion. So I would say a hobby turned to a career.
Right.
Because in the true sense of it, fitness was just a hobby in 2014 when I started. It was more of a hobby. Yes, I've always been active. I'd rather walk than take a bike. I'd rather move around than find an easy way of getting to the place in 2 minutes. And when Chopper came on board in 2014 and they started road races, I joined in.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
found out that I really loved road races. And from there, it kept on and it metamorphosed into a career. So, that's just a sneak peek of who
What
Roseline is.
happened?
And
Okay.
bringing me from
yeah.
home to work.
Okay, that's really good. So right now, going into that, you are working with Tropper. Is it? It's called Tropper, not Trooper.
Yes, sir. No,
So if we
Tropper.
talk now about the passion that we are seeing behind it, because I don't think we can ignore all those medals. Yeah, going into running, because I know from what we do, we both are on what do you call it? A returnees group, where it's a fitness group for people to help inspire one another, and you're one of the inspiring people on the groups, especially when it comes to running long distances and putting through people through their paces. So can you talk a bit more about let's start with running in general, what benefits you feel about running, and from there you can probably just expand about running marathons, or would you call 5K
Just
marathon?
running.
Or would you
No, a 5K is not.
so,
That's a total insult. It's a
ooh,
total insult.
okay. Let's take a
So,
step back. Let's take a step back. So,
so I would help.
yeah,
I would help.
yes,
I would help. So a 5K, a 10K, a 15K, a 21K, anything less than 42.195 kilometers or 26.2 miles isn't a marathon.
yikes.
A marathon is when you're able to cover 26.2 miles.
Yikes. Okay, all right, good. So that is
Yes,
some
and
learning
that's a
for us.
marathon.
So
Yes.
22.2 miles, you said?
26.2 miles or
26.
42.195 kilometer.
Okay, that's really interesting. So for people like, because on the group we see a lot of us are trying to get into the running, especially because of all the gyms are shut because of the COVID pandemic. Everybody's trying to get some form of exercise. If you can just give benefits you found from going on doing running as an exercise, what are the benefits from your point of view?
Okay, so running if we're given a simple layman English, is lacing up and putting a foot in front of the other. That's a layman definition. But when you have to come into the true term of what running is a science.
Right.
Because
yeah.
it has so many things that come to play beyond lacing up and running on a pavement, on the treadmill, or on the spot. Now we have to realize that when we're running, we're trying to build cardiovascular endurance, not cardiovascular strength.
Good.
And now cardiac health is the most important health that any human should gear towards, because your heart function is pretty important to whether you live or you die.
Pretty much, yes.
So that is like the most important thing that we all have. Like I tell people, you could have muscle strength, muscle endurance, but is your heart function there? And the whole essence why we exercise is what? To boost our energy level, to break fatigue, to ensure that we're able to do things that we couldn't do without going out of breath.
Yeah.
And exercising doesn't negate the fact that you wouldn't go out of breath, but the timing in which you would go out of breath is elongated.
Good. Okay.
Now, so I bring it back to running.
Yeah.
Now, running, as I said, is a science. Putting into, cognizance your body function from your head all the way to your feet. Now, posture plays a part in running. Your core stabilizers, your core stabilization plays a part in running. The build of your legs plays a part in running. Now, for individuals who have got possibly impact injuries or underlying health, issues that, create a pain around the knee, running isn't bad for them, but how do they run is the question. So your foot strike. Now, what is a foot strike? Foot strike is just the ability for your foot to hit the ground and recoil back off the ground. Now, putting that into, that's one facet of running, your foot strike. So there are people who underpronate and there are people who overpronate. Now, when you're underpronating or overpronating, is either you're trying to hit and balance up with your heel, or creating an arch towards the midfoot on the side. Now, when you do that consistently, that is not a natural, anatomical position of the human body. The human body is meant to be aligned from top to bottom. So once you're putting pressure, bearing your weight onto your heel or onto the side, I don't know the medical term again, but it's more like the
just the lateral aspect of the foot. So just the
yes,
outside
yes,
of
the
the foot.
lateral. Yes, I was just going to the lateral. So now, when you start to do that, you're taking your body out of the real anatomical plane. So then we come into cadence. How many steps per minute are you able to take?
Wow. Okay.
Your
now
running form.
this is
Yes. So
really interesting stuff.
your running form. Your shoulders are meant to be squared. Your core is meant to be tight and long. So you need to engage your core. Creating that full lengthening around your torso area. So you're not falling into your tailbone, neither are you punching, rounding your spine.
Okay.
Then your knee to hip ratio. So that's why I said for running, if you really want to do what I do in terms of running marathons, these things are pretty essential. But if you feel you just want to run for running fun, even running is not fun because it's getting the science. To be very sincere, like I always say, and I would always advise, get the science why you want to run.
Okay.
Yes, people would say, oh, just lace up and run. Lace up and run. Some people are paying the price. And you're a doctor. I'm sure you have people who, went into running and right now they're paying the price. Either their knees are totally out.
Or their hips are gone.
It's not obvious that it's out, but the hips gone. Every part of them. So they're now misaligned because they've had to compensate their body. So like when you're overpronating and you're hitting onto, you're bearing your weight on your heel. At a point in time, you start to compensate your gait to a specific side of your body, now creating an alteration to that body formation. So to enjoy running is to understand that we've got different pace, and this is dependent on your age, your gender, and the environment in which you run. Because if you're running on a trail, it's different from when you're running on the road. And it's different from when you're running on the mountain, because there's mountain running, there's trail running, and there's the road running. And it's different from when you run on a treadmill. It's different from when you run on the spot. You understand? So, and that's why, to run, you have to understand that whatsoever surface you decide to run on, sometimes there are different footwears. So even as running, the footwear you wear is pretty important. There are footwears for short distance. There are footwears for short distance, mid distance, and long distance. So if you're using the footwear for short distance, for long distance, your feet would pay the price, your knee would pay the price, your hip would pay the price.